The OGs of the OC are back, but are they ready to whoop it up just yet? We are here at the panel. It's the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 11, Episode 1, When the Ship Hits the Fan.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's back!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. You're in the right place. If you're checking for the OGs of the OC, it's the Real Housewives of Orange County, and the full panel is here with a fresh new perspective on the brand new season. I'm your host, Rutter, and next to me...
Hello, everybody. My name is Christy, Olsen. I'm so excited that we're finally back, and you guys can all share your excitement with me at Christy Reports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Thomas Orlina, and you can find me at Thomas Orlina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook.
Hi, everyone. I'm Blake V, and I'm so excited to be back. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media.
Wonderful. Well, welcome back to the panel. We're so glad that you're back joining us and catching up with the ladies. There's plenty to talk about, so let's get it rolling.
Let's do it.
So we open up with a little bit of a recap, or a lot of bit of a recap of all these ladies doing different things. So let's just do a little bit here for those who haven't watched. Tamra is resisting aging by training, and she says that age doesn't matter to her. That's what she's trying to make it seem like she's telling everyone like age doesn't matter. She's a grandmother, who cares? You know what I mean? Like she still looks good. She does. I think we can
does.
sure.
Totally. I think that's great. I'm all about everything she's doing because it's true. Age is nothing but a number. And anyone can kick menopause's ass.
Especially when you're willing to work that hard and work out like that.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I want to fast forward to the fitness competition already. I just want to see her like shred it.
Right?
When that trainer told her that the back is the new butt, I was like, I give up. I'm on a solid workout routine, and I'm doing my squats. And if it's not good enough, then goodbye.
Time to switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Megan is in a new house that she designed herself, which looked nice as well. I can't really find anything to make fun of there. It looks so happy for her.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she finally has her own place with her man, so good for her.
Yeah.
And then I thought we were going to get a little bit of a buffer before we got into the I want to have a baby storyline, but no, it was like 6 minutes in and we're talking about the IVF.
Yeah. That's okay. I'd rather jump into the storyline than have 30 minutes of rehash. Right?
Okay.
I was fine with that. Yeah.
I just don't know what else she's going to bring this season because everything I've read and seen in the previews are just her with striving to have this baby. So I hope that there's something else there that she can Detective Megan King Edmonds can latch on to. But so she brought up that her husband didn't want to lose her, so that's why he said, okay, let's have a baby. So
that was such a good reason to have a baby, guys.
Yeah, very interesting. And even the way she said it too in her little, confessional was kind of like, yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know you all are gonna rip me apart for this.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm telling you, but here it is.
So yeah, I mean, I think that Christy and I made a face across the table to each other, like, really?
Yeah.
Because to have a baby, I mean, especially from Jim going from so long of not wanting to have a baby. I mean, I think Megan was even talking about that last season, and it was like, oh no, off limits. But here we are. So we hope for the best, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. The needle scene, I don't get it. I mean, she had the tattoo and she's afraid of needles. I don't get that part.
Listen,
I don't think I could even stand that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for any woman going through any sort of, number one issue, whatever it is, health issue, but then having to be poked and prodded and things like that. But I gotta say, she lost her mind over the needle, and I'm like, and she wants a baby. She wants to go through childbirth and get that out of her, and she can't take a needle.
Oh, yeah.
Or the probe that went in her is this big and a baby is this big. So
she's going to have a journey.
Ooh, I can't speak to any of that. I don't know.
No, and I just can't relate to wanting a baby that bad. That's just not something that's my thing. So I have a hard time why are you putting yourself through all this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I know there are a lot of women who do relate to this, and I'm guessing that this storyline is going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the first we've seen of this kind of storyline. There's certainly not been any other sort of IVF, I don't think.
Kenya from Atlanta.
Another city.
Another city, yeah.
Not to this extent.
And Heather talked about it briefly. I think she had IVF things with her children, but we didn't.
She had her kids by a surrogate, remember, by choice.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what was happening there.
So exactly. So we didn't see her go through like any struggle, but see, we're gonna see Megan do it. So that's a new perspective.
Yeah, so those storylines, I don't have any interest in those. I mean, I know it's part of their life, but to me, like, I don't know, it's like a common story, even on like soap operas and things like that. It's like the couple that can't get pregnant.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I wish them very well, but for me, it's just, I don't know, it's not the most gripping story. But if that's what's going on in their lives, they'd rather have it be real than fake.
Yep.
Yes,
Agreed.
Well, Heather is planning a boat party, a love boat party, and so she is already having this, which was like the fakest scene of this episode, speaking of fake, with her and Tamra. Were like, Tamra's like, well, who are you going to invite? Well, I went down the list, and, you know, oh, well, yeah, who was on the list? Well, one of us, and it was like, who's going to bring up Vicki first? And so she's going to have to invite her, but she hasn't talked to Vicki. We learned no one's really spoken with Vicki since everything happened. Meaning, like, I don't know why they just can't refer to what really happened, like the reunion and him leaving. Like, you know, it's like they can't touch like these production terms. But if that's the last time that you all were in the room together, like, it's okay. Like, we get it. It's 11 seasons of the show. And
We know there's a reunion. We watched 4 parts of it.
yeah, that's the one thing. Like, all Housewives in general, I feel like it's just like they can never say, like, you said on the show. They can't like break that fourth wall. But so much happens. Like, it's like almost like fooling people that you can't reference the show because that's where everything is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and we saw all over Vicki's social media during this time, her posting photos with her childhood friends and with other women who we've never seen and saying, oh, it's so great to have real friends, and just really kind of throwing the ladies under the bus constantly for quite a while.
Yep. I remember that was the last thing I reported on this show last season, was that her Instagram was littered with pictures of her and other women that nobody knew
She's
of.
just letting all the other women know, you guys are not just the only people I know in this town.
Yeah. I mean, didn't she even, I feel like she ended last season saying something like that, saying like she doesn't care about any of the women on this show. Do you remember a comment like this? I mean, she was so upset with the Brooks thing and her treatment and getting nailed to the cross like Jesus and all of this. So, you know, so she was already on the defensive against all the ladies. And I swear, she said something
I
like
think
that.
it was right before she went in the limo or something.
Yes.
Around that time.
Yes. Something. Some comment was said. So it doesn't surprise me that she's trying to branch out. But I think it's going to take... I mean, we're watching this show as viewers, and obviously they're put in this situation sort of by force of the show. But, you know, I think that realistically for anybody to kind of rebuild a relationship with Vicki, it'll take some time.
Yeah.
Because that was some major damage.
Yeah.
A lot of trust.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's talk about how we were dropped in on Vicki. She's alone. She has new hair and new kitchen. But
She looks great, but she apparently isn't doing too well.
No, she got rid of Brooke. She collapsed in the street trying to get him to come back. And then she wants to put her behavior behind her. And it's been about 6 months that she has had anyone live with her.
I thought that was very notable too, the fact that the way she described the Brooks breakup and how she said that she laid on the floor crying trying to get him to come back. Like, why? After he just did all of that?
You know what? I think with Vicki, it's just the companionship. She's at a point where, you know, she was going to be with anybody. I mean, I'm sure she read all the red flags, but, I mean, it's really sad to see on the season her that lonely, but, you know, I feel like it's the companionship that she didn't even care. She could care less.
Yeah, of who it is.
Yeah.
More so that she just has a companion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I guess that there's something that I can relate to. I don't think anyone likes to. Oh, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people like being home alone or not having roommates or not living with a spouse. I am not one of them. My husband works out of the state a lot, and I'm home alone a lot, and I hate that. I mean, it's just. I think it really has an effect on your psyche.
Yeah.
When there's nobody there in the evening, and if that's what you want, that's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for her because that was always what she didn't want. She always wanted a full love tank, like people around her, like, you know, it's like when she's like taking off her jewelry and getting ready for bed.
The bed scene.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, a new low for her, I feel like, but it's the right thing. I would rather have her be in a safe and healthy relationship, even if it's just with herself, than have that guy sleeping in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, fill up your own love tank.
Yes!
Tell me about it.
I know, and she's had that house empty for 6 months, apparently, and she's still moping around. Like, come on. She's the whoop it up girl.
I know.
Let's get back in the saddle, Vicki. You know?
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna find like companionship in Kelly, the new housewife. I feel like they're already hitting it off. And I feel
hope
like
so.
that girl is gonna
I
just
like
rev her
Kelly.
back up.
Yep.
Yeah, and we know that historically Vicki does not take well to the new girl.
Right.
Usually, so that's a big shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a totally different mindset this season. She was in a lonely state of mind.
Yes.
So she was willing to accept the newcomer. She
Yes.
seemed to like her. It was good. I know, and she's the more she says she wants to be happy, she keeps seeming more unhappy, and that makes me
Yeah.
sad because I like Vicki.
Yeah.
But like in the end of it, you know.
I feel like she's trying to wheel the women back on her corner because
Yeah.
everybody literally turned their back on her last season for good reason. But this season, it's like rebuilding her image to the women. That's what I get from this season so
I
far.
agree.
Well, here's the status with the women and Vicki. Tamra still is convinced that Vicki knew of the faking of cancer. Shannon says that she still has to stay away or something like that. Something like that. She still has to, she doesn't expect any changes. Megan feels vindicated by everything that happened in the press.
Of
so we
course
know
she
that.
does.
Yes. Then we learn about this, more about the boat party and just more stuff rolls out. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about how the only real human in the Housewives franchise, Brianna, is moving back to Orange County, and she has a new house. Must be
Beautiful
nice.
She does, yeah. A brand new, lovely house.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I think kind of shame on Vicki for making a huge deal out of, I bought her this brand new house, and they're gonna pay me back when their house sells in Oklahoma. But I bought her a new house. It's like, come on, Vicki, she's gonna pay you back. Don't make such a big deal out of it.
I think Brianna says that she does that because she talked about her car when she turned 16 or something, and Vicki went and bought her like a very fancy Mercedes or BMW or
Yes.
something, and was like, "Here, I bought this for you. You get to take over the payments." And she was like, "What? I don't even have a job, right? How's this gonna work?" So that's Vicki's MO.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it for you and make you pay for it. Okay.
You are forever indebted to me, but for no good reason.
So they're planning a cross-country road trip, and sounds like could be a mess. I thought we would maybe see some of it, but I don't know. Maybe we will. I don't want to see the previews for it, but I want to see more of her, Brianna, and the coming back. It's funny how life works, you know. It's been 6 months since Brooks was out. He made his exit, and now she's coming back.
Yeah.
It almost is like a show in and of itself, you know, with like a storyline and stuff. So.
Plot twist: is Don gonna come back too? We're
I
just gonna come
wish.
full circle.
I know, I would love
He's such a great guy.
I know.
Well, and she said kind of a mean thing towards Dawn too, indirectly, because she was talking about Brooks, and she said that being with Brooks, she loved like she'd never loved before. And it's like, come on. Like Dawn was really good to her, and in terms of like meeting her, taking on her children, like doing a whole brand new life with her and helping her grow everything personally, professionally, you know? So that was kind of like a little jab, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of last season, she said that she was going on a family trip, and Dawn was going to meet them on this island. And they were like, "What do you?" Because I think it was a one-on-one with her and Andy. In fact, it was. And they're like, and Andy was like, well, "What do you think is going to come of that?" And she's like, "I don't think he likes me very much right now. Like, I don't think anything's going to come of it. But I would love for them to revisit that and see what happened. You know?"
But do we really think that Dawn would want to?
You never
Like,
know.
I think he might just feel so slighted and just be like,
I can't
wow,
blame him.
you did all of this to me and then aired all of what you went through on TV.
It's kind of like their way, though. You never know, because sometimes if you're in a relationship, sometimes you need some time apart. Even though their lives are played out on camera, you just never know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Don was
still
always kind of the reluctant reality star, you know, like Mr. Vicky. I just can't really see him wanting to put himself out there like that again.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, with Vicki out of the picture, Shannon and Tamra seem to be more closer than ever, and they went to go get, this looks like a crude word, but Ulthera treatment or something like that. Looks like something else. And it was a skin treatment, basically like a facelift, according to Tamra. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like high pain, like it goes down to the bone, but you know, you'll look good. I'm like, okay, but I love Orange
I'm
County.
convinced.
Yeah.
Orange
Sign us
County.
up.
I know, right?
Orange County always has a good job at like balancing between the ridiculous and then the other stuff. So of course there's some plastic surgery work, you know.
course.
It's a staple in this show. If someone's not getting their boobs done, it's something else. So yeah, and they love medical storylines in the OC. If we already had two.
Maintenance.
Yeah, we already had two in this episode. So they're getting all this done, and they're just bonding. And Shannon and Tamra, they've just teamed up pretty much. So
I like them as friends. They're both funny, and I feel like they're gonna just have a lot of good, clean fun. Oh, not clean, probably. Just good,
With
dirty
Tamra?
fun together.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
right?
Never clean with Tamra. Yeah, I thought this was very interesting because at the beginning of last season, we saw Shannon and Vicki be best friends. And they were sitting on the beach on the trip saying, oh, all the other ladies, like we're BFFs, you know? And then now, kicking off season 11, it's a drastic change. Shannon has completely dropped Vicki and is now jumped board with, you know, Tamra, who used to be Vicki's BFF. It's like a whole, it's
and
like
who
a
used
circle.
to be enemies of Shannon.
Yes,
And
yes.
that lovely flashback scene in that bathroom.
I feel like
Yes.
the OC Housewife franchise is the one that has the relationship changes the most. Like
Oh,
every
yes.
season, it's like remember like with Gretchen back in the day with
Oh yeah,
Alexis,
she was
and then they
flopping.
flipped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. OC is where you're gonna see all the flip flop of relationships.
And I'm most
so.
curious to see what happens between Tamra and Vicki because they've been able to get over such crazy things that they've done to each other so quickly before. Remember, it was just like all of a sudden they were friends again. They kissed and made up. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen next week.
Yeah. Ooh, so interesting.
Well, let's talk about the new and latest housewife, Kelly, to join the show and what we think of her. We were introduced to her as being Mexican, really into family life. Her mother and brother live with her in a 4-floor home.
Bar on every floor.
Hey.
I like that.
complain.
Which first thought is like, oh, your mother and brother live with you. Okay, it's a little interesting. But she lives in a 4-story house. So like everybody could have their own floor and not see each other and it would be fine.
Yeah.
And she said that there's a bar on every floor. So even better. Everyone can partake on their own.
It sounds like she has room for us, guys.
I know.
We should all move in.
Kelly,
Kelly, come
we're
invite
ready
us
for our
over, too.
invite.
It looks like a good-sized house.
It was a beautiful
It
home.
was.
Let's talk a little bit about real estate. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, let me know what you think, especially about that price. What do you think of the price range of the home that Vicki bought her daughter?
Yes. Okay, so, I mean, we only saw the front of it. There are a lot of variables. Orange County traditionally is a, you know, more expensive, essentially, real estate market, especially along the coastal areas.
For those who don't know, Blake is from Orange County, so that's
I
what
am.
we're referring
I
to.
am.
Like,
She's our local
the,
girl.
the resident real estate expert
right,
of
yes.
Orange County. Yeah, just so you know, the coastal areas are far more expensive than inland. Coto de Casa is a specialty area because it's far away from the ocean, but it's a gated community and it's like very exclusive. So it depends on where the house is. If it's anywhere near Coto, it would definitely be more on the expensive range, anywhere towards $1 million. If it's anywhere away from, you know, sort of the coastal areas or Coto, maybe down to 500,000. You don't see anything below that. So easily this house is between 500,000 and $1 million, I would have to say. Yeah. So, yeah. So, you know, depending, I'm certain whatever they were living in Oklahoma is far less,
Yeah,
you know.
not worth even a fraction of that.
Not at
probably.
all. So, you know, the house did look like maybe a touch older. The front and the facade was pretty. The inside sort of looked like it had some older kind of carpet and decor and stuff. Still very cute. But maybe if it is an older home, it's maybe less. My estimate is between 600 and 700,000 for this house.
Now, what do we think of Kelly's? What do we think
Thank you.
What do we think of Kelly's 4-floor home? What do we think?
Oh,
of
no,
that
that's a
one?
completely different story.
Yeah.
If the camera angle, you know, view that we saw is correct, where she was explaining the home and then we went on the patio and saw the ocean, she's right on the ocean, is what it looked like. So 4 stories, oceanfront property, I mean, I would say at least $2 million, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. I mean, that's a big home. She said over 4,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a mansion.
Almost 5,000 square feet, 4
Yeah.
floors, and
Did they cover what her husband does? I didn't.
No. Oh, no.
I didn't see that, and she says that she's a stay-at-home mom. I mean, this is a $2 million house.
At least.
I feel like they'll probably start talking about him later on, but they didn't
Yeah.
talk about it on this episode. It was interesting.
I wonder if they'll do the good old Orange County. My husband's an entrepreneur. We never really know what
Like
that
the
is.
Jim Bellino story.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Alexis, what are you up to?
Hey, girl.
But I really
Friends
liked
after
Kelly.
us,
Yes.
I think Kelly's going to be a great addition.
Yeah.
She totally seems fun. I like her personality. I like her parenting style. It's like, hey, we're just going to throw it all out there. I don't know how old you are, kid, but I don't know, 10, 11? Toss that salad.
Yeah, see, I found all that to be a little bit crass.
Yeah.
I'm wondering,
And
maybe she was really ramping it up for the cameras.
But do you want that to
came across
be
a little obnoxious?
Do you want that
Right,
to
do
be
you
your
want that?
introduction on a national TV show? But whatever. I mean, I know
I'm fine
you
with
don't,
it.
Christy. I know you don't. We're far more classy than that here at AfterBuzz
That's
TV.
right.
But so Kelly and her husband, she describes the marriage as a partnership, and this kind of alludes to some things that I've heard that it's more like a business. I guess that they're together more than I guess she what I've read, she's got boyfriends or she'll experiment on the side. So I don't know how true it all is.
And it sounds like they've gone through times where they weren't together, times
Right.
of separation. So, in that one was
said that-
recently.
Yeah.
Modern.
Well, then that's a really interesting dynamic, having her whole family in the house. It's almost like it's her house with her family, and the husband just kind of.
She said that she
Is
met
an
him when he
accessory.
was 46.
Yeah, and she was 28.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
In
He's
New
quite a
York.
bit older than her.
Yeah.
What is that? Like 18 years? Yeah. Fine. She was 28. Fine.
But before we move to our boat party on the Icon ship, let's do a quick cheers and jeers segment, some highs and lows, some things that stuck out to us as we celebrate. So, what are some cheers? I'll do cheers and jeers, and then we can each do our own of just some minor things. So I'm giving cheers to the flashback of Tamra's yacht party because I just thought that was entertaining because Tamra still looks really good. Love her, hate her.
She does.
She's like the face is still the same face. I don't have to have a chart to see what they morphed into. I'm like, okay, I
Well,
get it.
Eddie came in her life, so Eddie kind of calmed her down and kind of say, I feel
Yeah.
like that was.
Yeah.
And I'm giving a jeers to the present episode with Megan's outfit. I don't know what she was wearing to the boat
pink,
party.
the glitter
It was
pink.
I thought it looked like a rain slicker that an older woman perhaps in London would wear.
Yes.
It's just she's such she's young, she's
Yeah.
hot. She could really turn up at that boat party. She could wear anything because she's close with Heather, so no one's gonna say anything. But
Yeah.
I love that.
Fully agree
Oh,
with
I
that.
loved it. I know I'm the only one, but I thought it was so cute. Yeah. Yeah.
no.
My jeers go to one of the ladies' outfits as well. And Heather Dubrow always looks good. I always love what she's wearing, but what was the striped dress at the tree place? I know, right? I know we're going to pick out trees and it's about gardening and stuff. That doesn't mean we have to look ugly.
Yeah.
Love you, Heather.
Oh, yeah.
And my cheers go to Adeline. Is it Adeline, right? Shannon's daughter, the
Yes.
good one. Girl, yes, you keep
Yes.
swinging on your swings. I know you're 11 years old. Don't worry about the boys. Keep being a good girl. Cheers to you.
Yes.
All right, well, my cheers have to be Brianna moving back home. I'm just happy that we're going to see Brianna on screen.
New storyline, too. It's going to be a lot for Vicki.
Yeah, it's a whole new move for them. And my cheers has to be Shannon's attitude at the yacht party.
The cheers.
I was not feeling that attitude. I mean, it makes for great TV, but if everybody's going to move on, I hope that she somehow finds a way.
I want to see a different Shannon.
You've said this every season, Blake.
We see attitude Shannon every
I know.
episode.
Yeah.
Let's be fun. Let's accept people.
Yeah.
Let's get to know people. Let's
You
get
like
over
vacation
things.
Shannon.
I like vacation Shannon. That's the one I want back.
Well, Blake, what are you feeling and what are you running away from?
Okay, so my cheers this episode is going to Gina.
Yes.
She looked so good, and that hair, that straight hair,
She
and the
knows
bangs,
it.
and-
She knows
Oh,
it too.
She looked like a pussycat doll.
Yes, she did. She was on fire. It was good. It was very good. I liked it.
Love her so much.
So good, right? And what better way to intro her back into this? Just looking fierce.
Yeah.
It was good. It was
and
very
she's
good.
got the boyfriend on tap. She's good. She's good.
She's doing very well. It's good. Vicky's hanging out with her. We're gonna elevate Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get her on the Gina train. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All aboard. And my jeers this time is, we talked about it briefly, but I'm just gonna revisit it, is Megan's sort of issues with her whole doctor visit and couldn't take the needle. I know it's a painful scenario and it's emotionally testing, but it's a needle. Come on. Like, bigger things are to come. Scarier things are to come. Like, my God.
And they're gonna come out from some place that's gonna hurt a lot more.
They're coming out of you.
God. Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
As I'm calling other people crass.
Well, we want to hear your cheers and jeers and your thoughts on this premiere episode. So it's quite simple. You all know what to do. You can just leave a comment below. Make sure you give us a thumbs up because there's no reason for a thumbs down. We're giving you free content.
We had fun
We
here.
cover everything here. There's a lot to support. You can support all of us on social media as well, and keep watching AfterBuzz for all your favorite shows. That and so much more to come. But let's talk about this boat party.
Yes.
And this is an event I would absolutely go to. You know, sometimes on the Housewives, I like to say, like, yeah, this is something I wouldn't be caught dead doing certain things. This is something I would go to.
Yeah.
I would always wanted to go out like Balboa Island and go out on a nice little boat ride. It's like I love a good boat ride. So I would do this, you know, with the well lit. Good
Decorated beautifully, the place settings, the table settings.
Well, comparing it to Tamra's party in 2008, I mean, we're comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you know, it's like consistently Heather delivers.
She does.
Any sort of get together, any sort of dinner, any sort of event like that is just perfection.
She's perfect.
You know, and she's so fancy. She's like in the boat, and she's like, "Come on, everybody, upstairs for dinner." I loved it.
I like seeing her a little bit vulnerable, talking about Terry and stuff like that. Because, you know, on the season, you just see them kind of bicker throughout. And this time, you know, he did go through a health scare, and just seeing her emotional, kind of, you get to see another side to her in that tonight.
And then I had a sad thought during it because, okay, so, you know, Heather put on this dinner to really celebrate life and love and kind of honor Terry and his false alarm and that everything is good and she's thankful and it's great and they'll get together with friends. But the second she got up and started describing the health scenario, I was getting flashbacks of Vicki talking about the cancer with Brooks. And I thought, isn't that sad that now anybody else talking about a health thing, now we're like scarred thinking of, well, is it real? Oh, like Vicki started this. It's reminiscent of Vicki. And then that made me sad.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Shannon, and Thomas touched upon her behavior and attitude at this event. As soon as Vicki entered her in her confessional, she said, "There's nothing Vicki Gunvalson could say that would put our friendship back on track," or something like that. So she's already going into it with, like, not happening.
Fast forward to the reunion when they're giving each other hugs and they so we're like, okay.
Yeah, I know. That means pretty much nothing. But, so they kept cutting to Shannon, and Shannon is like, that woman is authentic. Like, you know exactly what you're getting with her. Like, she's not
That
acting.
is very true.
She is like seething at the sight of this woman.
Yeah, and she wasn't having Kelly either,
No.
which was still kind of surprising.
But, you know, they say, like, time heals some wounds, but I mean, Shannon was as angry as she was on that reunion set. She picked it right back up. So they had the toast that Blake mentioned, and then David said, "Oh, it's a lot like having cancer, but not really having it, huh? By having a false positive."
Oh, David. I mean, we were all thinking it, let's be real, but he said it.
Yeah, and he said it pretty loudly too. He wasn't. He didn't really say it under his breath. He doesn't have anything to lose. I think he has fun with the show. I mean, he already showed his vulnerable side. Yeah, I mean, everything in his life is exposed as it is.
Yeah, well, he has no other option. He has to embrace it because he's stuck.
Yeah.
I think
He's not allowed to leave.
touching on Shannon and Kelly's relationship.
Both.
I totally understand where you're coming from because I feel like with Kelly and Shannon, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of problems there throughout the season because she's barely starting to rebuild her friendship with Tamra, and Tamra seeing the closeness right away. You know, she feels like that defense. You know, you feel like defensive when you see Shannon.
Yeah.
It's always a problem.
We saw that little teaser for next episode where they kind of have that moment. I think Kelly says to Shannon, "Oh, you seemed a little negative," or something like that. And then Shannon was like, "Oh."
Yeah, here we go.
That's the start.
Shannon's the new Vicki in the way of that she doesn't like the new girl.
Yeah.
You know, she had problems with Megan last season too. It's like, is she threatened because she was the last new girl? You know?
That's an interesting perspective.
Well, Vicki has a message for Shannon that she can kiss her ass because she's so upset with the behavior at on this boat, or the treatment, she said, the treatment. And then she summons Heather to the mast of the boat for a conversation, and she says that she went about things wrong, and she asks for forgiveness. And who couldn't see the apology tour coming? I mean, here we start.
First up.
Yeah, so she's gonna start with Heather because Heather's the easiest to win over.
And was the host of the party too.
Yeah.
That made sense to me. Like all of that made sense to me. Like do Heather first, get her out of the way. You know, and I thought it was fine and sincere and fine. You know, she actually apologized. She took her aside and it was private and reasonable, and like I'd accept it, the apology.
She did drag Terry into that too, so she's definitely going to Heather first.
Yes, and I will say this too quickly, is that of everybody to apologize to, for Heather to accept the apology really would be the biggest, I think.
I think so.
I do, because Vicki pulled Terry into this and made up this thing about Terry coming to give the IV and the thing, and I think if I were Heather, I would just be like, okay, whoa now, like, things about me is one thing, but bringing Terry into it and medicine and like, you know, as if he's treating Brooks now,
Like
that was a
involving
whole...
his reputation as a doctor, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that it would be much harder to apologize to Tamra and Shannon because they won't even hear it. They won't even hear of it.
Yeah.
They have no relationship with her whatsoever, purposefully. So
They're more forgiving than Heather is.
you think so?
I think they are. Yeah, Shannon definitely is.
Shannon's gonna be the hardest person to...
That's what I think.
so?
I think Vicki started off with the easy one. I don't know. It's just we're all good to have a
Well,
debate
let
here.
the apology tour commence.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see how it all unrolls. But let's take a look at what's going on in some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Big announcement, you all. This morning on Instagram, Megan posted a photo of her in gym and told everybody that she is pregnant with a baby girl.
Congratulations, Megan.
Congratulations.
Baby is due around the holiday time, and it looks like they're both very excited. You can see that picture on her Instagram account.
Oh, yay.
And one lady
awesome.
that we almost didn't see back this season is the OG of the OC, Miss Vicki herself, who said in an interview that she didn't think she had the strength to come back and do this all again, but that she didn't want to end it on the note of her being the victim.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go out like that.
I get that.
Right.
I
And we're
get
glad
it.
that she is back. Tamra, meanwhile, will reportedly share the struggles that she's having with her teenage daughter on this season. This is something that she's been kind of barred from talking about in the past, and we know her daughter and her ex-husband do not want her talking about it. So it'll be very interesting to see what she touches on. She's going to talk about parental alienation and some of that
And she's
kind of
making a
stuff.
documentary.
Oh, about parental
Yes.
alienation, yeah.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, so we're gonna see that. Meanwhile, Heather and Terry, you guys have probably seen the highly publicized lawsuit that they were involved in with a former friend. This guy said they defamed him. He charged extortion and harassment, libel, slander, and now he just dropped his lawsuit. So don't worry about that. And we did hear about Lynn on tonight's episode, and we weren't sure if they meant Lynn Curtin, former OC housewife. Well, what's going on with Miss Lynn is that daughter Alexa was recently, again, I know. Daughter was charged with possession of a controlled substance and paraphernalia, 2 drug charges after being pulled over last month.
Oh, no.
So this is the daughter who worked as a porn star also.
Yes.
So apparently not, still some tumultuous things going on in the Curtin family.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Lynn will pop up at some point during this season.
Oh, Lynn.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how she manages to live on. She just lives on a different wavelength than the rest
She
of
went
us.
through so much. It was just watching that season was so horrible.
It really
I
was.
know. Because I think everybody liked her.
Yeah.
Like, we like her, but her whole
She had
story
no control over her
is
life.
tough.
No.
Yeah.
She didn't.
It makes me think the thing with her daughters, because her other daughter has struggled quite a bit as well. It makes me think of that Dr. Phil always says, I don't ask myself why you act this way, I ask myself why not. It's like, of course her daughters are a bit hot messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a bit, certainly.
Well, thanks for the news and gossip.
Yes.
Thank you.
Christy, that was
Glad
so
to be
good.
back reporting on these ladies. I can't even tell you.
Covered past, present, and now let's talk about some future with giving some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I predict that Megan will be pregnant. Oh wait, that happened.
That's so outrageous, Blake.
Right?
I am predicting a Shannon and Kelly showdown this season. They are not going to be friends. I just don't see it. There's going to be like a little sit down. There's going to be a few sit downs, but
Yes.
that one I think for sure that's going to happen.
I completely agree.
I see
and
it.
just their parenting styles alone are just woo,
She was
opposite
already
sides.
offended right off the bat. Like in the
Right
book,
off
she's
the
like
bat.
taking her phone back from her. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think we're finally going to see Heather Dubrow and Terry be a little more vulnerable than they have in the past. We're going to learn what's really going on with them and their relationship a little bit. And I think, everyone's kind of loving Kelly right now because she's fun and this and that, but I wonder if she's going to end up turning a lot of people off, a lot of viewers off with her behavior. I'm really wondering what we're going to see from her. So.
Yeah, well, you guys mentioned it earlier here on the panel, but I definitely think that Vicki is going to ditch the hazing and that she's going to connect real fast with Kelly. And I hope that she uses that well with Tamra. I want to see that play out. I feel like I predict that somehow Kelly's going to get in the middle of those two. So we'll see. And I also predict that, once again, things with Tamra and Vicki will rebound.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, they've fallen out again already, so
No.
who knows?
They probably hold the
find
record
out.
in Housewife
Right.
franchise for just
for back and
reconnecting.
forth. Yeah.
I know, when do you hang it up? But it's time for us to hang up on this episode. But
Well, before we
go,
do that, let's all wish Grant a happy birthday.
thank you.
Make
Let's
sure
do
you
a
all
cheers
tweet
to
him your
Grant.
birthday
Happiest
cheers.
birthday,
Cheers.
Grant.
Happy birthday, Grant.
Champagne all day. Thank you very much. You guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__rants, and you can find everybody else.
I love that. You guys can all hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Christy Reports. And please also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Christy Reports, and check out ChristyReports.com. Those ladies will be working the red carpet circuit, and I will be there grilling them.
Yes.
That's what I do.
That's what we wait for, Christy.
You guys can follow me at Thomas Orlina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook.
And I am Blake V. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media.
All right.
For the Real Housewives of Orange County, we'll be back with plenty more.
Back. It's so good.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.